The human who outlived her deadliest challenges. Commander Lisa Martinez stood at the observation deck of the Zephyrian research station, watching 3 alien suns cast strange shadows across the metallic hull. The station hummed with an energy that felt wrong against human senses, but Lisa had grown used to wrong things over the past 2 years. Zephyrians had captured her during a routine scouting mission near the Outer Rim. Lisa remembered the day clearly. Her ship had been investigating strange energy readings when massive vessels had surrounded her before she could even send a distress signal. The aliens had been curious about humans, having never encountered their species before now. Lisa found herself the subject of their most ambitious experiment. The Zephyrians were a proud warrior race who believed that survival was the ultimate measure of any species. They had conquered dozens of worlds by testing the limits of other civilizations, and humans were their newest curiosity. High researcher Vex approached Lisa with his usual measured steps. The alien stood nearly 8 feet tall with crystalline skin that shifted colors based on his emotions. Currently, it showed deep purple, which Lisa had learned meant intense focus. Human Lisa, Vex spoke through his translation device. Tomorrow begins your final trial sequence. Our council has designed challenges that have defeated the strongest specimens from 17 different worlds. Lisa turned to face the alien researcher. She had survived every test they had thrown at her for the past months. The Zephyrians had been genuinely surprised by her adaptability. They had expected her to break after the first few trials, but Lisa kept finding ways to overcome their obstacles. "What makes you think this time will be different?" Lisa asked. Keeping her voice steady, she had learned that showing fear only encouraged them to make the tests harder. Vex tilted his head in what Lisa recognized as their version of curiosity. "These trials are designed specifically for humans. We have studied your species extensively through you. We know your weaknesses now." The next morning, Lisa was led to a massive chamber she had never seen before. The walls seemed to stretch upward beyond sight, and the floor was covered with a strange mist that obscured her vision. The Zephyrian Council watched from elevated platforms surrounding the arena. "Trial 1 begins now," announced Council Leader Rax, his voice echoing through the chamber. The mist began to clear, revealing a maze of shifting walls. The walls moved constantly, creating new paths while closing off others. Lisa could see glowing panels scattered throughout the maze. She would need to activate them in sequence to complete the trial. Lisa started moving immediately. She had learned that hesitation was often more dangerous than action. The walls moved every few seconds, but she began to notice a pattern. The maze wasn't random. It followed a mathematical sequence that repeated every 90 seconds. She timed her movements carefully, activating the first panel just as a wall shifted to block the path behind her. The second panel required her to climb over a moving barrier, but Lisa had maintained her physical conditioning throughout her captivity. The third panel was positioned in what seemed like an impossible location, but Lisa realized she could use the moving walls to reach it by timing her jump perfectly. Zephyrians watched in silence as Lisa completed the maze trial in less than half the time their computers had predicted. Their crystalline skin shifted to colors Lisa had rarely seen, orange mixed with silver, indicating surprise and respect. "Trial 2, Rax announced, though his voice carried less certainty than before. The floor of the chamber opened to reveal a deep pit filled with a strange liquid. Lisa recognized it as Zephyrian acid from their previous tests. The liquid wouldn't kill her immediately, but it would burn through her protective suit within minutes. Across the pit, mechanical platforms moved in complex patterns. Lisa would need to reach the other side, using only these platforms. But they moved too quickly and unpredictably for normal calculation. Lisa studied the platforms for several moments. The Zephyrians had made them move in patterns that seemed chaotic, but Lisa suspected there was still an underlying logic. She had noticed that the aliens thought in very structured ways. Even when trying to create chaos, she watched more carefully and realized the platforms were following the movement patterns of Zephyrian combat dances she had observed during her captivity. The aliens incorporated their cultural movements into everything, even their torture devices. Using this knowledge, Lisa began to anticipate where each platform would move. She leapt from one to another with increasing confidence, treating the deadly obstacle course like a dance she was learning. The acid below bubbled and hissed, But Lisa never wavered. She reached the other side as the Zephyrian Council exchanged what Lisa assumed were worried communications. Their skin colors were shifting rapidly between different hues of confusion and "Concern Trial 3, Rax called out. But now his voice carried a note Lisa had never heard before. Uncertainty. The chamber transformed again, this time revealing a room filled with Zephyrian technology. Lisa had seen some of these devices before during her various tests, but others were completely unfamiliar. Complex displays showed information in alien languages, and multiple control panels blinked with urgent warning lights. "You must repair our primary research computer," Vex announced from his observation platform. "It has been programmed with multiple cascading failures. You have 1 hour before the station's life support systems fail." Lisa approached the alien technology with careful confidence. She had spent months observing Zephyrian systems, and while she couldn't read their language, she had begun to understand their technological logic. The aliens built their systems based on crystalline matrices that reflected their own biology. Lisa traced the connections between different components, looking for patterns that matched what she knew about Zephyrian thinking. She found the first failure in a routing system that had been deliberately misconfigured. The repair was relatively simple once she understood the alien logic behind it. The second failure was more complex, involving power distribution networks that required her to recalibrate multiple subsystems simultaneously. The third failure was the most dangerous, a feedback loop that would destroy the entire computer system if triggered. Lisa had to disable it while maintaining power to critical systems. It required her to work with 3 different control interfaces at the same time. Lisa completed the repairs with 20 minutes. To spare, the computer systems came back online, and the warning lights throughout the chamber shifted to steady green. The Zephyrian Council sat in complete silence, their skin colors cycling through what Lisa now recognized as profound shock. Council leader Rax descended from his platform for the first time since Lisa had arrived at the station. He approached her directly, something no Zephyrian had ever done before. "Human Lisa," he said, his translation device struggling with what seemed to be emotion in his voice. "In 300 years of testing, no specimen has survived our final trial sequence. Most fail within the first challenge." Lisa looked at the assembled Zephyrians, noting how their postures had changed. They no longer stood with the confident dominance she had grown accustomed to. Instead, they seemed almost deferential. "Your species presents a unique combination of adaptability and determination," Vex added, his own skin showing colors Lisa associated with deep respect. "We have tested your physical capabilities, your problem-solving abilities, and your technological aptitude. You exceed our projections in every category." "What happens now?" Lisa asked. She had survived their tests, but she wasn't sure what that meant, for her future or for humanity. Rax exchanged glances with the other council members before responding. "We had planned to use the data from your trials to identify weaknesses in human civilization. Our fleet was prepared to test your entire species as we have tested you." Lisa felt a chill that had nothing to do with the station's climate control. "And now we understand that humanity represents something we have never encountered before," Rax continued. "A species that grows stronger under pressure rather than weaker. Your survival instincts are coupled with an intelligence that adapts to any challenge." The council leader paused, his skin shifting to a color Lisa had never seen before, deep blue mixed with gold. "We propose an alliance rather than conquest," he said. "The Zephyrian Empire has much to offer humanity, and we believe your species has much to teach us about survival and adaptation." Lisa considered the offer carefully. She thought about Earth, about the billions of humans who had no idea how close they had come to facing the same trial she had endured. She also thought about what she had learned about the Zephyrians over the past months. "I need guarantees," she said finally. "No more tests on humans. Without consent, no invasion fleets, no experiments." Rax nodded slowly. "Agreed. We will approach your government through proper diplomatic channels. You will be returned to your people as our first ambassador." As Lisa prepared for her journey home, she reflected on what the past months had taught her about both humanity and alien civilizations. The Zephyrians had expected her to break under pressure, But instead she had learned and grown stronger with each challenge. They had tested her body, her mind and her spirit, believing that they could find the weakness that would doom her entire species instead. They had discovered that humanity's greatest strength was not any single capability, but rather their